everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is my podcast, Up in the Clouds, back for another week. First of all, I am so sorry that it's been 2 weeks since I have uploaded. I had a really crazy week, and then after North Coast, I actually lost my voice, so I couldn't talk for like almost a week. I think I finally fully got it back on Saturday, where it wasn't like raspy or anything anymore. Like before that, it was like really raspy and it still like wasn't fully healed. And obviously with singing and stuff, like I was kind of like on a vocal rest to fully heal my voice before I started singing again or anything like that, because I wanted to be fully back and fully here and fully in, with a full voice and complete rest. So voice is back, so I do apologize about that. I also wanted to address that I know to my other viewers who watched my other videos, like my try-on ones, I was gonna do a North Coast vlog and I did not. I was just like so in the moment. I really wasn't on my phone very much. Except to like meet up with people, like anybody in the outside world, I like really wasn't responding to, like unless I was like meeting up with you at the festival, and or just like whatever, like if you respond to a video and I like said, oh yeah, it's so great, wish you were here, like other than that, like I really like wasn't like, I didn't have a lot of service like at the festival and stuff, and yeah, I was just like super in the moment. And now I kind of like understand like why YouTubers like usually have like vlog like crews, like camera crews, like following them around, because it is really hard, like especially in situations like that when you're just trying to like enjoy the moment and like be in present and not really like trying to record everything. And yeah, so I do apologize about that. I will probably do like a fall haul soon, so keep on the lookout for that, if you kind of like watching my other videos besides just these episodes. What else is going on? Yeah, not a whole lot. Actually, North Coast was amazing. First Fest in the books, so that was truly incredible. But I feel like it has a lot of inspiration of where I got this idea for this episode. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about love. So not just like being in love or relationship type of love, but talking about how to live in love. I don't know if you if it's just like certain people have felt this, and or like if it is kind of like a known thing, but if you have felt it, this shift that we've been experiencing as humans, it's been very dark. The shift of humanity has turned really dark. People are pitted against each other more than ever, and we're sort of living in a very intense world of hate right now. There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of negativity, and there's just really a lot of darkness surrounding us as a human race. And it is very, very unfortunate, because I feel as though there are more dark and there are more evil. There is more dark and there is more evil in the world right now than there is good and light. And so basically the whole like idea that of like is that we as a human race need to unify, stop separating from each other, and we need to learn to live in love. We need to learn to live in light. Living in negativity and darkness is we will not prevail as a human race. We will kill each other off. We will be so divided, and ultimately it will take years of where we have come as a human race backwards if we continue down this path of darkness, if we continue down this path of separation and of hate. We as humans need to learn to lead with love. What do you like? I guess like let's elaborate on that. We have become so intense with each other that we cannot even accept if somebody else has a different viewpoint than us. Where did we get so far back that we can't even take the time to listen to when someone has a difference in opinion of us? When did we become so filled with hatred that if somebody expresses a different view that is outside the norm or different from what our views are, that we immediately respond with hate, then we immediately respond with negativity? When did we all become the same person? I thought the importance of being a human was the uniqueness of yourself. If we are forcing everyone to have the same beliefs and have the same opinions, then we are not unique. Then we would just be the same. We don't want everyone to be the same. We don't want everyone to, nobody is the same and nobody thinks the same. So why do we have such strong hate against people who think differently than we do? It is okay to think differently than your neighbor, your friend, your cousin. We have just been rooted in so much hate and such this idea of separating from each other that we've completely lost the idea of uniqueness. We've completely lost the fact that it is okay to have differences of opinions. That is the whole point of being the land of the free. Am I wrong? Or are we just not even free anymore? That's a whole nother topic though. We are becoming so divided as a society, as a race, as a country specifically. And it really just is very scary, the path that we're headed down of this darkness and hatred, which leads to war, which leads to separations, which leads to people dying. Aren't enough people dying already from this, what is going on right now? Exactly. It's crazy to me. I read through comments on other people's, on celebrities. I read through because I genuinely just sometimes you just scroll through and you're just reading what people say, especially when I'm watching podcasts, because podcasts are really big on YouTube right now. So a lot of people are putting live video footage of when they're doing their podcasts on YouTube. So I like to read through the comments and, get ideas, what people like, what people don't like, what, people support, or what things that people can work on. And the majority of hate comments to nice comments or critical feedback, it's just negative feedback. There's positive feedback and there's negative feedback, and the negative to positive of comments in these vloggers, podcasters, YouTubers, Instagram, TikTok, the majority is hate. It is truly insane how hateful, mean, and horrible we are to each other. When did we lose that? Is it just because my eyes have been opened that I notice this? Does nobody else just notice how horrible we treat each other? If you are consuming in that hate, in that gossip, in that lifestyle of just negative and darkness, that's all you're surrounding yourself with, that's the kind of person you are. Maybe it's time to start making conscious choices of who we are surrounding ourselves with, who we are spending the most time with, because you as a person, your personality, the person that you are is usually what you surround yourself with. If you're surrounding yourself with drugs, alcohol, things like that, that's what you're going to consume. That's what you're going to do. If you surround yourself with hateful, negative, critical, gossiping people, you are going to become that. And we don't want that. Why would you want that? If you believe that peace is so far-fetched and so hard to obtain, you are part of the problem. If we don't believe that peace and harmony and unity and love is possible, That's why we're not there. That's why we can't get there, is because there's people that don't believe that it's possible. There's people that call other people peace workers, light workers, people trying to lead with love crazy or out of this world or not normal, because we're trying to live our lives differently than everybody else, but in a way where we're trying to make things more beautiful for each other. And I feel like that should be what, but instead everybody else is focusing on what everybody else is doing and picking apart other people. There are children sending grown adults into mental hospitals because of the things that they post and they troll on people's pages. And being at the music festival and seeing how much more people are living in love, they're spreading love, they're living in harmony and peace and unity. And yes, just with everything, there are a few bad apples. You can't always escape bad people. But for the majority of the time at the festival, all I experienced was love. And I feel like that's why people get so in it with when it comes to the EDM, the rave scene community, because there is a difference between that community and the outside world. There's so much more love. There's so much more acceptance. Whereas this outside, when you go back to reality, when you go outside of that bubble that you're in for however many days the festival is, or even just being at a show for a night, you experience that love and that joy and that peace and that harmony and the unity. We were at a show and this guy was being super creepy and nobody was noticing it because I wasn't trying to draw attention to it. I was just kind of shuffling around and I kept moving, and this guy next to me was is this guy bothering you? And he's I got you, just have fun. And I didn't know this guy at all, and he I'm a very vibe. I feel energies of people very intensely, and as I've been doing my shadow work and working on myself, it has only increased for me. I've been very receptive and it's just getting stronger. I can literally just stand next to somebody and I can tell if they're I can just feel their energy and their vibration and know whether or not I vibe with them. It's crazy. It's honestly, it's really intense sometimes because it'll be people that other people like, and I'm just I don't like your vibe. I don't like your vibration. I don't know what it is, and you're not doing anything to me specifically, but whatever you're projecting off and whatever I'm picking up on, I don't like. And I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird. And as I said, I've been working on myself and healing old stuff and coming out as a new person and trying to live my life not attached to my traumas, it's just been getting stronger. So yeah, and I could feel the energy that this guy was pure and he had no intentions behind trying to protect me or whatever. And he didn't even really need to protect me because I can protect myself. But it was just nice to have somebody looking out for me, because he said that specific guy was bothering girls in his group as well. So he already had to say something to this guy. So it was just kind of nice to just have people looking out for one another and being there for one another when you don't even necessarily need to you're not necessarily asking for help. I wasn't being oh my God, help me. You know what I mean? I literally was just not having a good time. I was just really on edge and anxious, and it's almost he felt my energy too. So, and then you get out of that environment. You're in it for however long, a night, 3 days, 2 days, a day, whatever. And then you go back to reality and back to this world that we're in. And really it was the inspiration for this episode. Like I said earlier, the outside world is so depressing. It's so sad, this world that we live in as a whole. We are filled with so much hate and negativity and darkness, and we are falling apart. And I feel unless you're a light worker or someone who wants chaos and someone who is on this path of darkness, are the only ones that are really seeing it. how separated we are, how surrounded with darkness we are and we have to step up in unity with each other and fight for the light. We have to bring the light back into this world, or we won't prevail. We will fall apart. And it's pretty bad, but that doesn't mean we don't, like, there is no hope. There is hope. There is always hope. If you don't believe in hope and you don't have hope for better, hope for the future, that's when you've lost that light. Because a light is a beacon of hope. Hope is light. Peace is light. Harmony, unity, love. So if you need to make those conscious choices from yourself of who you're surrounding yourself with, what environment you're surrounding yourself with, the type of people, where you live, maybe, like if you live in a very like intense, like political, like if you live in Wisconsin, you know, Madison is very intense when it comes to like politics and stuff. So if that's not the environment for you, if that's not your vibe, it might not be the best place for you to live. Things like that, our environment, the people we surround ourselves with, that's all like what shapes us as a person. And, you know, if you're somebody who is struggling with mental health problems, you know, being in an environment of partying, drugs, alcohol, that's not going to help your mental health. That's going to keep it where it's at, or more than likely make it worse. And if you realize that when you're not in the party scene and you're losing friends, those people weren't really your friends in the first place. They were just, you know, you were just somebody to party with them. And that's a hard, cold truth. Surrounding yourself with people who gossip, also, that's something I'm working on, is like gossiping and talking negatively about other people, no matter the situation, no matter what they have done to me or people I know. And that is a very hard thing. I feel like unless you consciously are making yourself aware, as what we do is we don't realize how much we do that. And how much other people do it until you kind of consciously make yourself aware of it. And that's something also to work on, is no like gossiping. That includes celebrities too, you know, talking negatively about anybody in general, not just people in your lives or people that you know, but even people that you don't know, because you shouldn't even gossip about people that you don't know, because you don't even know them. You know, that's like the funny thing about it, is people pit other people against each other and they don't even know each other. Or you pit yourself against someone for something that, you know, you heard or whatever, or something that someone did maybe at a time that they weren't their best selves or whatever. And maybe they're not even that person that they were when they did that, you know? Like, that's the thing, is people do change and people do, you know, make mistakes, and people do things and they don't necessarily realize like what they're doing maybe in the moment or whatever. But you can't always just like hate someone for the rest of their lives, because people change so much and people grow and people learn from their mistakes. So to like, you know, cutting off like that lifestyle of like partying, being conscious of who you're surrounding yourself with, making sure that you're not surrounding yourself in drama, gossiping, negativity about other people, talking down about other people, you know, that's going to affect your vibration as well. So when you're trying to live in love and you're trying to live in light, surrounding yourself with dark things is going to dim your light, you know? So making sure, like, being conscious of all those things, you know, like taking the time, respecting other people's opinions. Why does everybody want everyone to agree? That there's no uniqueness anymore. You know, people are so afraid to express their opinions anymore, as a fear of like losing people, or, you know, it's like, well, one, if you don't agree with me anyway, we're better off being not friends. But like, when did we get that way? When did we get so that we can't even respect other humans enough to respect that we all don't think the same. We all don't view things the same. And maybe we have been through something ourselves which makes us see something a certain way, whereas you may have not experienced that, and or maybe have experienced something else which makes you think something a certain way. When we take the time to listen to why other people think the way they do, feel about things the way they do, why they have an opinion about something that may be different than ours, when we respect other people enough to take the time and listen instead of responding with like hate or responding with meanness, that's when we truly grow as humans. When you're learning to respect that other people have different opinions, other people have different thoughts, and other people have different experiences than we do, and not diminishing other people's experiences as well. Just because you went through something and somebody else went through something else, just because what you went through to you was the worst thing that you ever went through, does not diminish this person's experience just because it wasn't as bad as yours. That is not for you to make that assumption. That is not for you to make that opinion. That is the one time I will say opinions, things like that. But don't diminish somebody else's experience, trauma, pain, hurt, heartbreak because it wasn't as bad as yours. Oh, well, you didn't get cheated on, so you're not allowed to feel heartbroken anymore. Well, you guys weren't really dating, so you aren't allowed to feel that anymore. Well, my dad died, so you can't cry about your cat. That may be the worst thing that person has ever experienced. And just because they hadn't experienced something as intense as you or as bad as you, or you think yours is worse than what they're experiencing, that is not for you to make that decision. That is not for you to decide how other people should handle things, deal with things, or move on with things from their life, or move forward, or however they're handling their pain is their you can't diminish someone else's experience just because it wasn't as bad as yours, because that experience to them is just as what you felt, but in their own version, in their own world. And that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Just because they didn't lose somebody super close to them, but they're still really upset about somebody who passed away, doesn't give you the right to tell them that they're not allowed to feel something just because they didn't experience it as bad as you did or somebody else did. We're all going through the motions of life. We're all experiencing things, and we're all experiencing good and bad. And just because the bad might not be as bad as you think it is, or you think that you know what bad is compared to somebody else, there is no place for that. We only live with love and acceptance and trying to comfort people. Just because you don't understand what somebody else is going through does not mean you can diminish what they're going through. And that doesn't mean you can't be there for somebody. A lot of people, especially with anxiety, they're always like, well, they don't understand, so they don't know how to be there for me. Just because you don't understand doesn't mean that you can't be there for people. You can't unify yourself. Why are we separating ourselves because this person doesn't understand mental illnesses? Take the time to understand them. Learn about them. If somebody you love or somebody close to you is going through something and you don't understand it, I feel like you taking the time to understand it or learning how to be there for them, even if you don't, necessarily have that capacity to really fully understand, is more meaningful than just being a shitty friend to them because they're going through some shit and you don't know how to handle it. It's they don't know how to handle it either. That's why they're in the place that they're in, and they need somebody. And a lot of times they're not going to sit there and ask for help. But when we're leading with hatred and darkness, we're separating from each other and we're pulling apart. And that's why it's so important to what you're surrounding yourself with and who you're surrounding yourself with, because to surround yourself with light that gives that hope that there is a chance that humanity could become like this, and believing in that and trusting in that. And when you're surrounding yourself with that, that's all that you're going to experience. When you don't feed into that hate, the negative, the drama, the gossiping, everything negative. When you're not feeding into that, you're not building that into your world. This is your world. If you tell yourself the world is full of bad people, you are going to experience bad people because you're manifesting it accidentally. Because our thoughts create our realities that we surround ourselves with. When we believe in hope and we believe in peace and we believe in unity, we are creating that. That is just one more person that's adding that hope and that light to the world. When we're spreading messages of love instead of spreading hate, that's where we thrive. That's where we're starting to come out of the woodworks. That's when we will start to live a better life. Why do we want to surround ourselves with this hate, this darkness, this sadness, this pain? If that's what you want for society, then you do not belong here. Here we will learn love. We will learn to lead with love, support, praise. Be there for your friends. Support your friends. Do whatever you can to be there for other people, and stop leading with hate, with darkness, anger, and really try to lead with love, happiness, joy, harmony, unity. We want to thrive. We want to prevail. We don't want wars. We don't want more violence. We don't want more people dying. And that's the path that we're on. And if you work with people, if you're an empath, you feel it. You've felt this shift. And it's been getting worse and worse. And we really have to come together and unify as light workers, as people who are here for a mission, for a purpose, who feel that, they were put on this earth for a specific reason. You all are. It's just you have to find that in yourself too. You can't spread love if you don't love yourself. So we need to first start within. We need to heal. We need to work on ourselves, and we need to let go of that past pain and that hurt. And instead of being that person with those traumas, we are the person that conquered those traumas. Just because you went through something does not mean that is your entire existence. That is something that you went through. It has shaped you as a person, and you have moved from that, but you have not forgotten that experience. You realized to truly love is to truly feel heartbreak. If you have felt heartbreak, you know what love is. You know how to love people. If you have felt loss, if you have felt, sadness, you know what happiness is. You know what being gifted with somebody is if you have felt lost. And the importance is to take our experiences and what we have been through and look as we have conquered those things. We have defeated and gone through things that we did not think we could survive from or come back from, and we have come out on the other side a whole and complete person. You cannot spread love if you don't feel love towards yourself. Work on your self-love. Work on how you view yourself, and then start putting that out into the world. Start putting that love and those feelings of love back out. You can't do that though when you're struggling from within and you're not watering your own garden first. You need to heal yourself before you can start healing others. And that's, the way it is when we're holding on to that persona, when we're holding on to that pain instead of releasing it and acknowledging it and saying, okay, I acknowledge your pain. I am grateful for this experience, and now it is time for me to move forward. We have to hold, but you can't completely, completely, try to forget it. I did that and it does backfire on you. Don't just completely be like, oh, I'm not that person anymore. I'm a completely different person. I'm not even the same girl. This didn't happen to me. This didn't happen to me. That is almost like a negative, trauma response. So we don't want that either. But you want to acknowledge your pain. You want to live through it. You want to know that you conquered through it, and you are a better person because of it. but you are not just your pain. You are not your traumas. But yeah, to love is to love within and then to love without. So love outward. That's what I meant. So yeah, lead with love. You know, be conscious of who you're surrounding yourself with. If you have to go into like a solitude for a while and really find yourself and find your love within yourself and kind of separate yourself from, you know, people, that's okay too. Sometimes solitude really is what you need for growth and for the experiences to be the best in this life. We only have one life. We are given one life, and to make it the best it can be, we need to be spreading love and not spreading darkness. We need to be living in love and not darkness. So find that love within yourself and spread that out, because love is truly amazing, and it is a blessing of emotion that we get as humans get to experience. Find that love in your life and find that love within the light, and I promise that it will get better. And keep spreading that light, because we need people spreading love and light more than anything right now. And, you know, don't be so hateful if people have differences of opinions for you. Learn respect and learn to listen why people feel the way that they do about whatever they are feeling. And then express your opinion and have a mature conversation instead of hatefulness or darkness. You know, you may think that you're like a light worker and you're doing good, but when you're saying that you don't want to be friends with people because they have differences of opinions of you, that's really not being love. It's not living in love at all. You're living in hatred, and maybe denying that you're living in hatred because you're saying that you're a light worker and you're doing all this good, but you can't even take the respect of others to listen to differences of opinions. So making sure that you're not falsifying what you're trying to spread here. Make sure you're really, you know, partaking in gossiping and is toxic, and partaking in drama and talking negatively about people we know, people we don't know, other people, like friends of friends. You know, gossiping is a negative and it brings low vibration. So making sure we're not partaking in that. And if you have friend groups that's all they really do, maybe taking a break from that and trying to find new friends that, you know, are more like towards the light than the darkness. So really taking that evaluation of who you're surrounding yourself with really does make a difference. But I think that's where I'm going to end here today. Spread love. We need more love in this world, and just keep living in love. That's how I want to end this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, please give a thumbs up, leave a comment, or leave a comment of anything that you want me to touch on in this podcast. I love ideas. I love hearing what you guys want to hear, because this is for you. Yeah, tap that notification bell so you can get alerts whenever I post a new video, because sometimes I like to throw in fun little videos besides just my podcast videos. But yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful week. I will probably be uploading another video on Friday since I missed 2 weeks. So I'll see you guys on Friday. I love you all so much. Love and light to you all. Bye.